Well, hey, everybody. My name is Pastor Keith, and I have the honor of working with our senior adults and also offer discipleship to all of our members here at the church. And there's a rumor going around that I'm singing tonight. That's not true. So this would be a very short service if that was the case. Well, on behalf of the staff and the congregation of Canton First Baptist, we are so thankful that you chose to be with us here tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. You're going to hear from some great panelists. And I walked out there, and there's some great resources out in the lobby. So we're glad you're here. So let's give a cheer for being here tonight. We're glad you're here. And tonight is possible only because of our sponsors, and so we're so thankful for them. They helped us make everything happen tonight. So we want to give a shout out to Nelson Elder Care Law. Thank y'all. Give them a hand. Also, the Bonnie Dobbs Agency, Insurance, and Other Red Tape. So we're thankful for them tonight. We're also thankful for our comfort keepers that are here tonight. And Sonder Health, a Medicare Advantage company. Let's give them a hand. Our sponsor tables are right out front in the center, but then we also have, Caring Senior Services. Let's hear it for Caring Senior Services. And they are right out front here in the center. So I hope you'll at the end. I believe the tables will still be out, and then also we have so many other resources that you can visit. So I hope you'll visit all the tables tonight. Also, want to tell you about something exciting that we're going to do here on our campus. We're going to start it May 7th, and it's going to be from 12:30 to 1:30. And it's going to be a dementia Alzheimer's support group, and this is going to be for those that are caring for someone with Alzheimer's or any kind of dementia. And I'm pleased to say that Nancy Croja is going to be leading the group. She is a facilitator from the Alzheimer's Association. And so we're going to be offering that. Our first support group is going to be May 7th. She's here tonight, so you can meet her outside. And she has a sheet of paper, and she can give you her email address as well. So if you're interested in that, you can see her outside today. There she is. She's right there. So that will be wonderful. Well, in a minute, I'm going to introduce someone else that's real special that's going to get our presentation started. But before we do that, can we just take a moment and give honor to Jesus through prayer? Let's do that tonight. Father, we love you. God, we thank you so much for tonight. We thank you, Lord, for the resources and the speakers that you have provided for us. Lord, I pray that every person in here will leave knowing that there was something here for them tonight. So, Father, I pray for for our facilitator. I pray for our panelists. I pray, Lord, for those sitting in the seats tonight, that, God, you would just give them wisdom and understanding. And, Lord, I pray that everything we would do would bring honor and glory to you. We ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. And so now I want to introduce to you someone special. This is Dee Gale, and she is the resource coordinator for Stand Up for Seniors. She's going to come up now.
Good evening, everybody. I think what I'm going to do tonight, well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for being here. And we've decided to do our symposium a little different than we were doing last year. So I hope you enjoy our new setup. But I wanted to let you know about Stand Up for Seniors. We're celebrating 25 years this year. We've been a nonprofit. Earl Darby was one of the original founders. Patty Baker, some of you guys might know who that is. But we're having a little celebration gala. If any of you want to come to it, it's April 24th. Please let me know. I'd be happy to give you a ticket. But we are a nonprofit that started because a lot of seniors call into senior services, and they need help. They're low income. We help with financial assistance. We help with home repairs, senior comforts. They might need a walker, a rollator or a wheelchair. So we try to help and assist them with that. And we also decided to do these symposiums because a lot of people call in kind of in a panic, looking for resources. So we thought, well, let's start putting something together so that people can come out and pick up some resources, help themselves or their loved ones. So hopefully you guys are getting some great information out of here because we have some great vendors here. And they look forward to talking to you all. So hopefully you stop by and say hi. If you haven't got a bag, we have bags at the front that you can collect their information and throw in the bag. Hopefully you got your Chick-fil-A. But anyway, enjoy the program, and thank you for being here. So next up, am I introducing them up here? Sure. Come on up, panel. Thomas can do that. Come on up, Thomas. I don't know what I'm doing, really.
Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Fantastic. My name is Thomas Blanton. I'm the owner of Senior Helpers, which is a home care company here in Cherokee County. I'm also a member of the Stand Up for Seniors board, proudly, a newer member. And I'm going to be facilitating a conversation tonight with myself, our 4 panelists, which you're going to meet here shortly, and each and every one of you. So I hope that I'm not a professional speaker, so please bear with me if I make mistakes. If I'm not speaking clearly, because sometimes I speak fast, or if I'm not loud enough or anything, please let me know. Because again, we're having a conversation, and my goal tonight, as Dee referenced, is that each one of you are able to take something away tonight, some information, some resource, some knowledge. So let's meet our panelists, and I'll get out of the way here. First, I would like to introduce Hope Bowling, and she is with Habitat for Humanity of North Central Georgia.
Hello, everybody. I am the back there. Everybody's waving. That's wonderful. This is also my first time being a speaker, so please be patient with me. I am very nervous. My name is Hope Bowling. I work for Habitat for Humanity, North Central Georgia. We cover Forsyth, Dawson, North Fulton, and Cherokee County. Our affiliate has a home build partner, affiliate, a division of our affiliate, and also we're blessed to have the home repair division. And I've been working for Habitat for Humanity for over 8 years. We've actually had the home repair division for almost 15 years. So that's who I am.
Thank you, Hope, and we appreciate you being on our panel.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to introduce to you, and I have to look because I don't know everybody's last name, so don't judge me with that. But next, let's talk to Patrick Wenzel. He is with Wellway Transportation. Patrick?
Hey, everybody. I'm Patrick Wenzel. I'm the owner of Wellway Non-Emergency Medical Transportation. We are a wheelchair and stretcher service that services Cobb and Cherokee County. We actually began because of my father, who was paralyzed after spinal surgery. We found out that transportation was a very difficult process all around for somebody who needs wheelchair accessible transportation. We dealt with tons of headaches, just tons of heartaches, and what we realized is that we wanted to handle our own transportation for him. So we spent the next decade handling his transport. After he passed, we decided to create a company in his honor that would be respectable and be something that he would have been proud of. So pleased to be here.
Thank you, Patrick. Next, I'd like to introduce Tanny Lloyd. Tanny Lloyd is with Seniors Helping Seniors.
Hello, everybody. First, I'd like to say thank you for having us tonight. We really appreciate that. I do work for seniors, helping seniors. We are an in-home care company. We provide caregivers that can come into a home and do things as simple as companionship, transportation, light housekeeping, and so on. Seniors, helping seniors was started about 25 years ago by a lady named Karen Yoakum. And Karen worked with Mother Teresa. So who better to learn how to treat people with dignity and respect than Mother Teresa? So as our name implies, we do hire seniors. I am both a caregiver and I do things like this as well. I will be 70 this year. Thank you. Thank you. Seniors, helping seniors provides care for seniors in Cobb County, Pickens County, parts of Paulding County, and what did I leave out? Cherokee, of course. And we have been approved by the VA to provide care to our veterans. So there is an avenue there to have the VA pay for care. So always keep that in mind. Are there any veterans here tonight? Yes? Awesome. Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. Our mission is to provide meaningful connections while fulfilling the needs of not only our caregivers, but our clients and their families. So our office is located in Woodstock near Etowah High School. The owners, Terry and Kip Haswell, are in England right now visiting their son who is over there in school. So they'll be back next week. So they recruited me to come tonight. Bobby, or Terry's mother, Bobby, answers the phones for us, and Hetty Hurst is in the office most days, keeping us all straight. She does a lot of scheduling, and that's a really big job. So again, we're thankful to be here tonight, and we hope that we can provide information and answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. And lastly but not least, I need to introduce to you, and I hope I get this last name correct, which is Nicole Weatherington.
Correct.
Fantastic, with 101 Mobility.
Wonderful. Oh, it is on. Hi, everybody. Again, my name's Nicole Weatherington, and I have the honor to represent 101 Mobility Georgia this evening. I'm a mobility consultant for 101 Mobility, so I actually do go into the home to do home evaluations, but I'm also a certified aging in place specialist. And one of the great privileges of my job with 101 Mobility is to do outreaches to communities such as yourself to present our products in a hopeful light, to share how many wonderful innovations are out there, not just stair lifts, to help people not just stay in their homes, but also stay within their communities. We have a wide range of products, but more than that, a lot of times what I find is people who are going to be consumers of these products are not always as well informed about all these options that are out there. And so my mission and my hope this evening is to share with you some amazing innovations here in the state of Georgia in particular, because we have lots of great incentives actually to have medical devices manufactured in the state. But again, I digress a little bit, a little too much coffee. But my hope is to share all these, as many of these options with you that are applicable to keep you in home, if that's appropriate, but most importantly, comfortable and safe within your communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. So let me recap how we're going to hopefully move forward with this little discussion tonight. So we have somebody here from Habitat for Humanities. We have someone from Wellway Transportation. We have someone here from Seniors Helping Seniors and 101 Mobility. Now, when Stand Up for Seniors was putting together the symposiums for this year, we talked about themes, a theme for each one of our meetings. What are the topics going to be? And for this one, the topic is living independently. So the panelists up here are prepared to answer questions from me and from you guys about the resources that they offer, and quite frankly, other resources in the community, so that some of you, maybe some of your parents, and seniors can live independently in their home. So as I start this conversation off and we start talking about the different topics, I want each one of you to feel comfortable at any time through the conversation. You can present your question, present your thoughts. We would love this to be interactive. Again, this is a conversation between me, these panelists, and you. We're all talking. So if you have a question or you have a thought, you can do a couple different things. You can raise your hand and say, hey, and we'll come over and hear your question. We have mics over here. You come up to those mics, and you can ask your question so everybody can hear it. But I really encourage you guys to feel free to ask questions. Interrupt me, ask a question. Okay? So let's get started. The topic that I wanted to start off with tonight, because quite frankly, one that I'm probably most interested in, is repairing or maintaining a home. As you know, whether you're a new home buyer or you're a senior and you have a repair in your home, something breaks in your home, it's a struggle, right? Getting that fixed. And who do you call? Who do you trust? You know, and how do you get things, certain things fixed? And you know, how is it paid for? So yeah, let's start out maybe with Hope regarding with Habitat for Humanities, right? I don't know. Let's just throw this out there, and let's say that I have a roof leak in my house, and I don't know how I'm going to get that repaired. Where do I start, Hope?
For us, you can go online to our website, which is www.habitat-ncg.org, and fill out an application. We now have a neighborly portal, so it's easy to do it that way. Or there's a phone number on that website that you can call me and get an application mailed to you. That's the first step. Second one is to, when you go online to that website, look at it to see if you qualify. There are several points that you have to qualify. And then after that, you fill out the application, send it. Yes? If you want to visit my table after, I have a business card, and I think you took one of my flyers that was on the table earlier, maybe, and it's on there. Thank you.
Oh, if you would repeat the address for us, so please.
Okay.
Only because this is recorded and people may be watching this later or
Wonderful.
remotely. So
Wonderful.
That would help them.
www.habitat-ncg.org.
So what does that look like, right? Yeah. So we get approval from Habitat Humanity or even someone else to come into our home to do repairs, or maybe you need some remodeling done. Let's say you need a ramp built, right, in your home. What does that look like? Who comes and does that? Is it Habitat for Humanity? Is it another company? Who does that?
When I go out and assess the needs in your home, I will call 101 Mobility, and she will come out. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So the very first step for a lot of people is just to get a home evaluation. You have to know what you're dealing with. And this is frequently a free service it's 100% a free service from 101 Mobility, but it's actually a common service whether or not it's our organization. That is actually maybe one of the first things. You want to have a consultant that has the right credentials to do an overview of your house and takes the time to explain to you what's going on and what your options are. From that point, we can start going over those options to see what actually makes sense for you. And what I like to do is I like to definitely give, there are retail options I can give, but sometimes I'm dealing with families that may have a little bit more needs, so I still want to be a resource. So that's a time when I might very well reach out to Hope, Habitat for Humanity, or it's not uncommon for me to reach outside and try and do a little bit of extra work to try and connect a family with other local resources, whether it's an agency. It's all such a personal thing. And so the very first step is just making sure that you're having a true conversation so that your needs are assessed, as well as your structure, your home is also assessed. So I hope that answers. Any questions? Yes, ma'am? Okay.
This is a question for Habitat for Humanity. Does Habitat provide services or resources for things like addition of grab bars, things like that?
I'm sorry.
Addition of grab bars, if there's a need for a grab bar in a home? Or Habitat is more repair of the home?
Yes, we install grab bars. Yes, ma'am.
So I think that's a good start, though. You asked about grab bars, right? What about other is it just repairs of the home that's existing, or what about other things that may assist us in the home, like ramps, like just different assistive devices? Anybody have a stair chair in their home?
May I answer on this one?
You may.
Okay. So there are so many different products out there that's really amazing because, well, the first thing I deal with all the time is stairs, the frenemy of the home, okay? If you have multi-levels, whether it's stairs trying to get into the home or getting upstairs to your bedroom to access your bathroom, but there are really more products than just stair lifts and elevators, vertical platform ramps, the mobility component. There are whole new product lines for the bathroom that are out there, and if you would stop by my table, I may have already mentioned like motorized lifting chairs, different kinds of grab bars that mount to the ceiling, to the floor. Here's one, it's not even a product that I carry, but I was actually able to meet the inventor of this product, which is, to my knowledge, the first smart knob that was invented by this woman whose mother had Parkinson's, I believe, and nearly burned down the house. And so essentially there's a product out there now where you can remotely turn off your kitchen stove. It can be retrofitted into any stove so that you can check if your oven is on and turn it off remotely to prevent a fire. Now, this is not even a product that we currently carry yet, working on it, but this is an innovation, so that this is something that's out there, or motorized drawers for your kitchen cabinetry, or even just pull-out drawers. These are different innovations. The list goes on and on. Something, too, that maybe people don't think about, but I love talking about smart furniture. Most of us think about like scooters or motorized chairs or powerlifting chairs, and you think, oh, is that really furniture? I think it's some of the smartest investments for people. And a personal story on this one is if you've ever had a loved one that has had to go through breast cancer and has had like a radical mastectomy or a double mastectomy, if you're going through that, you can't push off to stand up. And so when this impacted my family, that power lifting chair, or something that you might think is, oh, that's just a lazy boy, I've got something like that. No, I'm talking about an actual lifting chair that can get you up to your feet. That was the one difference that enabled my loved one to stay independent in their home as they were going through this medical ordeal. So there are so many products out there, and the most exciting thing is that these products are actively being modified and being invented as we sit here now. And so I'm talking to you about some of these products now, but next year, I guarantee there's going to be more products out there, especially in the realm of bathroom modifications and kitchen modifications, in addition to all these other ways to access your home, from a stair lift to an elevator in your house. So I do get very excited about this, and I hope you guys do too.
And I'd like to add that I think sometimes we don't even realize what we need. And so if there is a caregiver in the home, they can be trained as eyes and ears to kind of, get a grip on what's going on in that home, and then they can make suggestions and referrals to keep it safe.
Is this on? Can you hear me? So I hear that all these discussions. So I think my question is, Habitat for Humanity has limitations on what is going to be provided dependent on your income, correct? So then I go to, well, if we need this, we can't just say we want it, we're going to get it. Doesn't it have to be approved? Where does insurance come in with 101 mobility versus the other needs that you might have limitations with for your repair? So I'm thinking with the older people who are not as well off, where does insurance come in, coverage, financial limitations? I'm kind of like curious with finances, that I see there's a lot of development, new things to have. Those to me sound very expensive. Who's covering these? Are there financial help that people can get to get these? Do you need a doctor's? Do you need some kind of order to get these devices? I know it's a loaded question, so.
Yes, you speak first, please.
As far as Habitat for Humanity is concerned, we are fully a nonprofit, but when I come into your home, I'm going to use resources of grants, funds, and sponsorships to pay for your needs. Sometimes there is a minimal payment that you make. It's based on 2%, 3% of whatever your area minimum income is. So sometimes it's nothing at all. It depends on it. Like a Cherokee County grant, you're going to pay nothing for whatever I do for you. So it just varies in that way. And I'd like to say a little bit of what I do, because I kind of haven't covered that. I do come in and do an assessment. When you send in your application, you tell me what your repair needs are, and I come in and do my own assessment from the outside to the inside, up, top and bottom. I look at the whole thing because I'm looking at first health and safety, and that starts with a new roof if you need it, heating and air conditioning, water heaters, electrical issues, flooring if it's a trip hazard, ADA bathrooms, upgrades to step-in showers, stair lifts. I have not yet been able to financially afford an elevator, but you never know. I'd love to do that. I hope I answered your financial question, then she can answer if she has.
So we do get asked this a lot because we are a private company, but we also do quite a bit of business with the VA. That's one of our biggest clients, actually. And we also do we participate in the bidding process for a lot of agencies in order to be able to put a stair lift or a home modification product into the home. But you are correct. I think one of the things that's really important to understand is the difference between things that are considered durable medical equipment that can be funded through your insurance versus the majority of my products, which are considered home modification equipment products, which are usually funded by the family or the individual. Although there are a few, not a lot, but I have found that there are a few grants that can be applied to some of our products. Again, it is a case-by-case basis, and I am finding that there is a great variance throughout the state of Georgia, county by county, because there are some counties that might be a little bit more well-funded than other counties that might be in a little bit more need. So again, it is highly individualistic. When it comes to our products in particular, why it falls under the realm of more home modification, unfortunately, for insurance purposes, a lot of the time people, the powers that be that are above my pay grade don't necessarily think a stair lift is necessary for an activity of daily life, even if it means that you're sleeping in your dining room, right? So where we try to go a little bit further is I'm happy to try and do a little bit of the legwork to try and see if there is any type of resource in your county, in your area, that could be applied, at least just to make it a little bit easier, because the biggest deficit that I think we have right now is the knowledge gap, knowing what is actually available to you. And there are some resources out there that may not be income specific. I just ran across one. It's out of DeKalb County, but bluntly, it's for the whole state of Georgia. It's the Credit Able program through FODAC, Friends of Disabled Adults and Children, for a small loan for a home modification that's not income dependent. And there are more than just that, but that's just one of the first things that came into my brain, in addition to Habitat for Humanity. So please don't lose hope. Just ask the question and see if we can help you navigate that particular obstacle. Thank you.
I quickly wanted to jump in there too. So Stand Up for Seniors, our nonprofit helps the low-income seniors. So if you know of anybody, if it's an individual, their monthly income is $2,500 a month or less, we can help with home repairs as well and help that out. And if it's a couple, I believe it's like $3,000 to $3,500 a month. So, always reach out to us as well. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Absolutely.
So that just kind of is a reminder for us as we're going through this conversation, is there's resources in this room that I'm sure that many of us didn't know about before we started. So please, make notes of those resources. I have a question for all of you, though, and I would like to start here and move across, because safety is important, right? We're all concerned about safety. And pretty much everybody up here in their industries, they're going to send people into your home. And I want to know from you guys, what do you do for the people that you employ that go into folks' homes? Is there anything that you do to ensure, quality is the wrong word, I can't think of the right word, but safety, that we're not sending people that shouldn't be in their homes? Background check, stuff like that.
Well, for in-home care, the state of Georgia requires a background check, fingerprint, and in most cases, I would imagine that the caregivers have to also be TB tested. Seniors Helping Seniors, we hire seniors to do the caregiving, and we do a vetting process, interviews. We have extensive training that our caregivers can take advantage of. So we hope that we are sending those people that really are compassionate, that care about our clients, and can build a relationship with them.
So I am the person that's going to come in your home. It's, well, I kind of had a background check, I'm pretty sure, when I was hired. I am a paid employee. And everybody that works for me, my subcontractors, are all vetted. They have to have insurance. They have to have workman's comp. We make sure of all of that. They sign contracts with us. And I also am there introducing them to you and you to them. I don't let them come in your home until I've explained the situation so that they know what to be prepared for. And most of the time I'm there checking on them. I don't really need to because they're really great guys. I've worked with these guys, the ones that I use for electrical, heating and air, roofs, the whole thing. For 8 years, and I trust them. I've actually used them on my home. I hope that makes a difference.
Nicole?
Yes. In addition to the standard background checks, to make sure that we're sending safe, trustworthy people into your homes, we also try to make sure that we're sending the most qualified consultants into your home as well. So my team of amazing people, we come from all sorts of backgrounds, from fellow veterans to builders, people that have been general contractors, medical device experts. So for us, we definitely want to make sure that we are sending safe people into your home, but also the most qualified consultants, evaluators into your home that can evaluate your physical needs or your loved one's physical needs, but also has a trained eye to make sure that the products that we're recommending or suggesting for your home would be safe, appropriate products as well.
So we work a little bit differently, actually. We're a door-to-door service, so we don't actually go in and assist anybody from bed to chair or into, to transportation. We pick you up at your door. We bring you to the door of wherever your destination is. But we have a rigorous training program that our drivers go through as well for handling all needs outside of the buildings, right? So We have first aid, CPR, and AED training that all of our drivers have to go through. We have a certified transport specialist training that they go through as well. We also have a Q-Straint basic securement training. That's actually the manufacturer of our securement systems in our vehicles for wheelchairs. That's one of the basic trainings our drivers have to go through as well. We also follow it up with a 2-week shadow program where I'm actually in the vehicle with our drivers, watching their behavior, watching the way that they work, making sure that they're executing safely on all the processes that we've gone through in the training. And then they shadow me the first week, and then I shadow them the second week. Before they're even allowed to interact with any of you by themselves, they have to go through me first to make sure that they're showing up on time, that they have, that they're handling themselves professionally.
Actually, I have a question, please. I'm right here. Does a caregiver need to accompany the individual that is needing assistance during the transportation period? Or can the individual in a wheelchair, do they have to manage on their own without a caregiver?
It's really based on their need, right? If they're going to need more specialized attention, if they're, if dementia, causes them to be a little bit more aggressive or very fearful, we're a one-person operation in the vehicle. We aren't like an ambulance where we have a team. We just have one driver who comes along. So based on our line of questioning, when we're actually vetting you before we accept a ride, we go through a deep line of questioning to make sure that the transport is safe beforehand. And if we feel that it may be a higher risk or that the individual needs a little bit more, TLC and, just a little help, so we try to make sure that there's at least a family member or a caregiver coming along. If that isn't something that the family or the passenger can provide on their own, but they do need it, we work hand in hand with companies like Comfort Care or Seniors Helping Seniors, and we'll actually outsource a caregiver for you to come with us and accompany them on that journey. So, you're welcome.
Fantastic, thank you. But here's my question for you, because you mentioned that outsourcing a caregiver or that. So staying on the theme here of living independently, there's plenty of folks out there that live alone, live in a home by themselves, that may not drive anymore. So as a transportation company, what options do you have? What options do I have as a potential client or somebody needing that transportation from Wellway and from other resources that may be out there for me to find transportation? How do I go about doing that? And quite frankly, how is that paid for? Do I have to pay for that? Are there resources out there?
So there are actually quite a few options, especially in the Cherokee County area, that I encourage everybody to explore outside of just non-emergency medical transportation. Obviously, you have your Uber, you have your Lyft, you have those basic options, which are going to be the most cost-effective, hands down, just based on, especially if you're living independently and you're able to transfer in and out of a vehicle on your own. You also have things like CATS. It's a wonderful service. It's the Cherokee Area Transportation Service. Basically, what it looks like is you book your transportation a couple weeks out. They come and they pick you up. They take you to your appointment. When you're ready to go back home, you have to call and they'll come and pick you back up within 30 minutes to an hour, whatever their transportation schedule allows for. But it's a few bucks. It's wheelchair accessible. It's also accommodates ambulatory passengers. So if you are independent, it's a great option for you. I also encourage people to go to their local church, right, and see if there's volunteers that might be able to assist you with transportation free of charge or maybe for a very small amount in relation to non-emergency medical transportation. You have Stand Up for Seniors, so maybe if you're lower income and you just need your budget is tight, go to Dee Gale over here. She's a great resource when it comes to that. Your local senior centers, the Cherokee County Senior Center, they have voucher programs and other assistance programs that might be able to help you, get from point A to point B in a more affordable fashion, right? Of course, there's non-emergency medical transportation, great options. You definitely want to find something that's highly reviewed, that's recommended because there are a lot of companies out there that, may not provide the service that you're looking for. But be sure to do your homework on those companies. Find something that's local to you. If you are going to go the NEMT route, that reduces the cost quite a bit if you find something that's headquartered closely to you. But yeah, that's most of what I can think of. If anybody has anything else to add, just feel free to speak up.
Transportation is something that we can provide as well. We do, when we take someone to the doctor, for instance, we go in with them. We wait for them and then take them home. And there's two ways to do that. Either the caregiver can drive their own car, or if the client wishes, we can drive their car as well. So transportation through an in-home care is also an option.
I have a question. Are there any resources or services for mental health for seniors in home?
Good question.
Yeah, that made y'all quiet.
And that is a great question. I'll be honest with you. That is an amazing question. I'm not sure any of our panelists today, they may be able to help you find resources, but I'm not sure any of them are prepared to discuss that today. But that is an amazing question about mental health. I think we can all agree maybe in our society as a whole, mental health is something that needs some more attention. But I think that's a great question.
And part of the process is an assessment. So either our nurse or someone like me would go out and find out about the potential client, what's going on with them, what are their medical problems or conditions or whatever, and then we would decide whether we thought that we could properly care for that person. So, dementia, of course, is one thing that we deal with quite often, but again, it would be all boil down to the assessment and what we thought, and make sure that we can provide the care that's most appropriate for that person. And we don't always take everybody.
Fantastic. I have a question right back here.
Yes, for the Habitat for Humanity lady. Years ago, we had a Habitat Restore here in Canton that I made use of fairly frequently. It's gone. Where are you located now?
Yes, sir. We originally had it here in Canton, and then it moved up to Roswell, and then that one closed as well. And we're still working. We're trying desperately to buy our own property this time so that we don't have that happen to us again. And hopefully in the next 2 years, we'll have another restore.
Is there one in Smyrna?
There's, I know there's one in Gainesville.
Smyrna?
Smyrna. There's another in Smyrna. I know. It's a little far to go.
That far.
The older I get, the further away Smyrna gets.
Give me a call.
The older I get, the older I get, the farther away the bathroom gets. I don't know. So, Patrick, help me out here one more time, because I just want to make sure we cover transportation, because transportation is huge. Listen. We live very comfortably in our homes. We get set in our routines in our homes, but it's funny that the older we get, the more doctor's appointments we have, the more medical outings and stuff like that, and the difficult it is for us to drive or us to get places. So you do door-to-door service, you said, for doctor's appointments. But do you do services such as an event? Hey, listen, my son's getting married in August. My grandmother, who is in a wheelchair, I don't know how we're going to get her there. We don't have any way to transport. Is that something I can call you for those other type of events?
Yeah, that's actually a story that I was planning on sharing anyway. We actually, we'll do events, we'll do everything like that, but we've actually recently had a family who called us. The mother of the bride was in a panic. Her mother wanted to be there, but she didn't have the time, dealing with her daughter's marriage and everything, dealing with the wedding, dealing with the coordinating, to get her mother there. Her mother has dementia. Her mother is incontinent. Her mother has a lot of issues, but she had to be there, right? That was essential, and you always want your grandmother at your daughter's, or your mother at your daughter's wedding, right? So what she did, but she actually called us. They needed a little bit more care there, so we provided the caregiver through Christian's company, Comfort Care. And our driver and the caregiver went there together, picked up grandma, brought her to the wedding, stayed with her the entire time, helped her, stay cleaned up, stay dry, stay everything, in good shape. And then they brought her back when the wedding was over. She actually stayed just right before the reception, but just came back after the ceremony because it was a little bit too long for her. But yeah, we'll do just about anything, right? As long as it makes sense for you and us both, we're happy to help with anything. It's not just medical.
So the rest of this story, just so you guys know, is when Grandma got home, or back up, while Grandma was at the wedding, she spilled some wine on her clothes. a lot of wine in her clothes. Grandma was drinking. So when Grandma got home, there was things that need to be done, like laundry. She has a top-load laundry washing machine, right? And she's now no longer able to do her own laundry. So I guess my question is, how would we get laundry done? How would we get those basic homemaker things completed? If you can no longer do some of the, hey, I can live in my home. I'm okay at home. I can't reach into the bottom of my washer drum, or I can't mop a floor like you used to, or clean a bathroom. You know, I just can't get some of those things done. So I want to stay in my home. How do I do that?
In-home care
Tell us
is
about that.
an excellent solution to that. I have already vowed that I'm never buying a front loader again because I can't get in there to get the stuff out. It's just ridiculous. So light housekeeping, laundry, bed making, those are all things that in-home care can do for you, along with meal prep and things like that.
So since I do, I'm in home care business as well. So I'd like to explore a little bit more with you, if that's okay. If you could tell us, because you said, you know, housekeeping, laundry, stuff like that. You know, some of the folks that we're talking about are folks that, like I said, they're pretty much independent. They can do most things, but there's other tasks, like you said. I think you mentioned bathing, showering, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Changing linen is as an industry as a whole. I don't know how that, if I don't know how that works, how do I call somebody to come into my home? Do I have to have them for 40 hours a week? Can I have them for 1 hour a week or every other week? How do I do that? And who are those people in general that come into the home to help me with this? And do I have a choice of who's coming into my home? Do I have a say-so in that?
Wow, that's a lot. Well, I go back to the assessment. So we would come into the home, find out what the potential client might need, what they want, because they still are calling all the shots. So once we do the assessment, we develop a care plan. So the care plan is detailed information for the caregiver on what needs to be done on each shift. Every time the caregiver is there, we expect that these are the things that need to be accomplished. It could be laundry on 1 day a week. It could be meal prep 1 day a week. So it's very individualized. So whatever that client needs and wants are the things that go into the care plan, the things that the caregivers are looking at. Now, different companies have different minimums as far as the number of hours and the days of the week. So it would just be a matter of researching those companies, seeing what their policies are about how often and how many hours at a time. As far as the caregivers go, we talked a little bit about the vetting process, background, fingerprint check, and that kind of thing. In our case, what we do is we try to match the caregiver with the client to make that meaningful connection there. Our owner, most of the time, will take the caregiver and introduce the caregiver to the client. So it's not just somebody's knocking on your door that you had never met before, coming in to do those things for you. So it's a process, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of paperwork involved because we are, we are bound by the state regulations.
One thing that I didn't hear mentioned is emergency call button. I had an aunt who fell at 2 in the morning and could not get to her phone or anything. And by the time we found out that she couldn't be reached by 8 o'clock, she had major, brain damage. If she had a call button, we could have had somebody there within minutes. So what kind of services are available for emergency call buttons?
Unfortunately, that's a story that in my career I have heard more than once. I was in leasing at an assisted living community, and if I couldn't talk them into moving into the assisted living community, I always suggested get yourself a call button and wear it, because it doesn't do you any good if it's sitting on your bedstand and you fall in the bathroom. So I'm not well versed on what those companies are or how much it costs. But if you do live alone, you should get one. And when I'm at home alone, I try to carry my cell phone with me just in case. One morning, it was a Monday morning, and everybody in my house had gone to work, and I went out to the garage for some stupid reason, and I fell and broke my arm. Because it was my arm, I was able to get to my cell phone and call somebody. Had it been my leg, I probably would have laid on the floor in the garage the whole day until somebody got home from work or school at that time. So it's a good thing to have, absolutely.
And when we do a lot of discharges from hospitals, and a lot of times we'll hear that story when we're bringing somebody home. They're in a wheelchair now, they're going back to their residence, and they were on the floor for a full day or, sometimes longer, just terrible stories you never want to hear. And what I realized is that, a lot of people already did have these services or these devices, but they just chose not to wear them because they were fine, right? They didn't need it. But the truth is that you're fine until you're not, right? So if people are going to have these services, it's very important to ensure that you're always wearing them, that you always have them with you. You just never know what's going to happen, right? And those are the moments we dread.
Right now as well, I'm also a caregiver for my mom, who is, let's just say, I always say she is the stone that sharpened my knife, and it's nearly impossible to get her to wear her pendant or a monitoring system. So strangely, I'm actually investigating some passive home monitoring systems, and there are a lot of advancements and products right now. We do not carry that particular line, but again, in my line of work, this is just something I have the privilege to come across, and I also do know that there are some caregiving agencies or companies that also integrate passive home monitoring devices as part of their overall package as well. So keep that in mind if you have a loved one that may have difficulty consistently wearing a call button or a wearable device for tracking.
I'm speaking from personal experience of taking care of my father, who was at home until he was 93. We got a lanyard and a call button. It was from Great Call. They are actually in your AARP magazine. I think they still are. They're a fabulous company. We at first just had a call button for him because he still wanted to be independent at 90. We just wanted to know if he needed anybody because he was living on his own. And then we bumped it up, which you can do, to a lanyard, which notified them immediately if he fell, stumbled, anything, if it was like he was going to fall, and they would get on there and speak to him and ask him if he was okay, and they would immediately notify me that something had happened. And I know there was an incident where my husband and I had gone to Florida on a vacation, and I couldn't get in touch with my dad. My sister called me. She was going over there to see him, and she said, I can't get him on the phone. Can you call Great Call? So I called Great Call, and they spoke to him, and he was hysterical and said he couldn't believe somebody finally got in touch with him. His power was off. So his phone wasn't working, and he didn't have any way to contact anybody. My sister got there in 10 minutes, but that relieved us to know that he was able to talk to somebody, and it relieved him to know that somebody cared.
So, and I appreciate it. I think that is a great question. And I'm not a panelist, but I'm going to speak on this just for a second. There's lots of resources out there. You notice each one of them had an answer that question, which I think is exciting, right? Everybody has their own insight. You mentioned a little bit about the passive monitoring. I'm not sure if you folks know what that is. It's kind of a newer concept or technology. Mm-hmm. It's really, really cool. Don't go anywhere. You're up next. It's really, really cool because basically what passive, if you don't know what that is, it monitors your routine in your home. There's no cameras. It's more sensors that monitors your routine. And if it's the one you're talking about is differently, I know of one. Mm-hmm. It monitors your routine, and if you fail to follow that routine a day or whatever, it will identify, wait, something's not right, and it'll notify the person that you choose for it to notify, so somebody can check on you and make sure you're okay. Additionally, Apple, as well as, not Samsung, what's it called, the other platform? Android, they have watches now that can do some pretty amazing things for falls and for emergency situations. So there's lots of resources out there for you in that emergency device. If anybody remembers Mrs. Fletcher, you remember Mrs. Fletcher, or is that just me? She was the old, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. They got on and said, yes, Mrs. Fletcher will be right there, what have you. So we've come a long way since Mrs. Fletcher.
Yes, thank you. And speaking of falls, do some of the counties have non-emergent phone numbers for assistance when a person has fallen and can't get up? I ask because we had those in California. It was great. So you don't call 911. There is another number that you call for assistance with getting up.
Well, I'm not sure if this will answer that, but I do know the Sheriff's Department has an Are You OK program that they really would encourage a lot of seniors, especially if you live alone, because they will call you every day at the time that you want them to call you. If you do not answer that phone, they will send a police officer to your home to see if you're okay. You may have forgotten and went to a doctor's appointment, but they're going to come and find you. So I really always encourage people to get on that program. If there's no charge, again, you just pick the time of day that you want them to call you. But I encourage that because you just don't know in a 24-hour period what might happen, and it might save your life.
And you can typically call your local fire department too, like you can call their direct number instead of 911, and they will send somebody out or a team of people to come just help you get up. I mean, they do it for getting people inside and out of their homes. They'll do it for falls as well. So you don't have to call 911 for every solution.
Let's do that again where everybody can
Just
hear.
to get you off the floor or whatever you just can't get up. You can call 911 in our county up here in Canton. They will just come out and help you.
Is there a charge for that?
There is no charge. I asked that because where I used to live, after 4 calls, they were going to start charging you, and they said, no, we do not do that. What they do is they send out an assessor because they figure if you're asking for that much help, maybe you shouldn't be living at home by yourself.
Or maybe you should be using some of the folks we have up on stage to help with that. So, but I think that's a great question about what to. Hang on, I'll get back there. Here I come. Everybody's waiting for you.
Are there any companies in Cherokee that you can hire for pay to do transportation for doctor's appointments and that type of thing?
And say that last part one more time. Did you say for events?
No, not for events, for doctor's appointments and things like that. If it's just, the people can't drive any longer, or either the person who can drive is possibly being put to sleep for a treatment or something, are there any companies that you can pay to do transportation for things like that?
Yeah, well, for starters, we're strictly private pay, and we service Cobb and Cherokee County. So we're one of there is quite a few services in the area who can assist with those types of needs. And you're typically going to run into 2 types of services that you can request for your round-trip doctor's appointments. You're going to have your typical local flex option, kind of like how CATS does their service, where they pick you up, they bring you there. You may have a little bit of wait time before you're returned home. Or you can request a full chauffeur option where we actually take you to your appointment. We wait with you the entire time. If you need somebody to accompany you inside of the appointment and actually sit with you in the waiting room, a lot of services provide that as well. It's just very important when requesting these services to be very clear about the type of service that you want. A lot of people will, after an experience with another company or, you name it, they have an issue where like, hey, my driver was rushed. I was waiting for an hour after my appointment, and I was under the impression that they were going to stay with me. But then, they realized they never really firmly connected that with the other company and just assumed that. So there are quite a few options in this area. If it's just doctor's appointments, try CATS. I think that's just a wonderful option for a few bucks. You pay them, but it's barely nothing at all. And, the only bottleneck there is I think Tuesdays and Thursdays are their main days for appointments, and you want to book a few weeks out because being such a cheap and great service, it's very saturated with the amount of people that are looking to book that service. So plan ahead if you can. Non-emergency medical transportation companies are typically, if something like CATS, you don't have weeks to plan out like that, you don't have any availability, they can flex you in on a last-minute trip. But there are a number of services, and if you want to come meet with me after this, I can actually provide you a list of a few of them, including ourselves, if you'd like.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Well, excuse me, and of course, in-home care can provide transportation to doctor's visits where we can wait as well. I have done that, and then once the client saw the physician, of course, we needed to go get prescriptions filled. So then I would leave the doctor's office with the client and take them to the drugstore so that they could get their prescription and then take them home. So in-home care is an option as well.
So, Patrick, for wheelchair transportation, you had mentioned that if it's something that, that CATS may require a couple weeks' notice. In general, with a private, such as what Wellway does, do you need to require do you need to have a notice? Number one. Number two, can you take somebody that is on oxygen all the time? If they have their own, right? They have their own portable oxygen device. Can you still transport them folks in your vehicle? And well, I guess I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah. Well, as far as the first part was notice, right? So we'll start with that. For any non-emergency medical transportation company, we work a little bit differently than your local cab service or an Uber. We don't have, thousands of drivers in the area who can pick you up at any time. We don't have thousands of ride requests coming in. So our calendars tend to fill up pretty quickly. Obviously, as companies grow and acquire more and more vehicles, their capacity opens up. If you ever have a last-minute need, it's always worth call around through a few companies who can help you out last minute, because it's likely that a lot of us will be able to, especially because, and especially if you're able to provide a little bit more flexibility on your end. Like maybe they need to pick you up 30 minutes earlier so they can get to their next trip. Maybe you might have a little bit of wait time before you get picked up instead of that chauffeur full dedicated service that day, but they can make it happen, right? If you're able to provide that little bit of flexibility, odds are they'll be able to work with you as well. Now, if you're booking something that's going to eat up the majority of the day, obviously that's a lot harder to accommodate last minute because there's a lot of rides booked out in advance. We see a lot of cancellations in our industry. We're dealing with people who have a lot of health issues for the most part, and they'll wake up that morning and they're sick, right? They'll wake up that morning and they're not ready. So always call. Don't ever assume that just because last time we weren't able to accommodate, or a company wasn't able to accommodate, that they're not going to this time, because there is cancellations every week. We deal with it all the time. So just be proactive. Make sure to have, I'd say, 2 to 3 transportation companies that you go to. Start with your favorite, work your way down the list, and just stick between those 3 and rotate around until that way you're always covered. But I can recommend, one thing I see a lot is that a lot of people like to request their transportation last minute, even if they've known about their appointment for months. Book your transportation at the time that you know about your appointment. That way the day of your appointment, you're covered. You don't have to scramble last minute. I know it feels like, it's all going to be okay. It's not for a few weeks out, and all of a sudden it creeps up on you. Just be very proactive about booking your appointments. Now, I know that a lot of things are scheduled last minute. So, like I said before, feel free to reach out. Just stick to your 3 transport companies and options that you use. What was the second part of that question?
You're not a non-medical transport. Can you transport somebody that is on oxygen?
Yes. So we can transport oxygen. We can't provide oxygen as long as we have a way to transport it in our vans. Make sure with every company before you book that they do have a way to keep your oxygen in a safe position in the vehicle during transport. But as far as we go, yes, we transport people on oxygen every week.
Thomas, you've done a good job as MC directing questions to the panel, and maybe I missed it, but I don't remember, can you tell us a little bit more about what your company does?
Thank you. Yes, I got the next 45 minutes, guys, so we're going to talk about my company, Senior Helpers, for 45 minutes. We have locked the back doors, so don't get up because we're not going to let you leave. And so I'm taking my time. So I am an in-home care company. I'm very much like seniors helping seniors. Actually, I know them well, and we refer to each other from time to time, but we do very, very much the same thing. Their specialty is bringing seniors on board to help with them. We bring caregivers of all ages to help take care of folks. And our goal is what our theme is today is we like to help people live independently. We like to help people to stay in their homes. Safety being important, right? And we like to help people stay in their homes. I'll have your $20 for you after the symposium. Thank you. Yeah. So listen, our time is actually starting to come to a close. And like the gentleman just said, I've done a lot of questions, I've asked a lot of questions, and you guys have thrown some good ones out there as well. And I think I may have led the direction of the conversation a little bit, but for this last maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I want to throw it out there to you guys to ask any question about living independently, staying in your home, whether it's about something we've talked about already, whether we think one of the panelists up here may be a specialty in that industry or not. But I'm interested if you have any questions you would like to ask that we may be able to help you with, please raise your hand, come to a mic, let me know. Otherwise, we'll keep talking for a couple more minutes. Question right here. Actually, we love questions. That's why we're doing this panel this time, is so everybody can ask questions.
My question is about Alzheimer's. I'm just kidding. I suggest that if you or your loved one or your parents have a two-story home, they love it, they've got a great garden, they don't want to move. But I suggest that you help them make that decision, because once they're not able to get up and down the stairs anymore, have a fall, then the move gets much more complex. So we sold our house in Alpharetta, two-story house, loved it, but my wife kept saying, one of these days we won't be able to walk up the stairs anymore, so let's move. And we did. And it took a while, but we were able to do it with no problem because we were in good health. But really, get your parents, grandparents, or elder patient to move to a one-story house or a one-story facility.
And you brought up something that we haven't really touched on yet today. We didn't talk about specific disease processes and medical problems that we experience as we age, as we're living at home and we age. But dementia, Alzheimer's, it's a big part of our society and our community. And if you happen to be the family member, the son, daughter, sister, brother, or even the victim of dementia yourself, that's a scary process. We've mentioned the word safety a couple times today. I think safety comes in big with dementia and Alzheimer's. And just because you have that disease, especially in the early stages, that doesn't mean you want to go live someplace else. You still want to be in your home. Does anybody here have or know of a program or anything that will help somebody with that disease process, dementia, stay in their home? That you're aware of? Is there anything that you can assist dementia patients with staying at home. Does that make sense? Well, that is a question. Melanie asked, is it about helping somebody move that needs assistance with relocating? That wasn't my question in this particular scenario, but there are resources out there. There are organizations out there that specialize in helping people relocate from one living arrangement to another, maybe a higher level of care. But home care, does home care, do you guys see much with dementia?
Yes, of course we do. You know, dementia is a horrible thing, really. My client that I love the best does have some dementia, but she is fortunate in that she lives with her daughter, so that there is somebody there 24/7. I think when you're facing that, or you have a loved one that is facing that, some honest conversations have to take place. And maybe staying in the home sometimes is not the best thing to do. Once it gets to a point where that person that has suffering with that disease, you know, anything short of 24/7 care sometimes is not enough. But yes, we do have clients with dementia. We have specialized training so that we, you know, kind of know how to deal with that. The biggest thing, and you probably already know this, but if you're dealing with someone that has memory care issues, first of all, you may have to answer that question the 15th time, but you cannot lose your cool with them. You know, you just answer it again, because that's the way it happens sometimes. But specialized training is very helpful in knowing how to deal with those things that come up. My mom had a horrible form of dementia, and it took away her ability to speak. And that was very hard, because you have someone that can't tell you what they need or want. So a funny story is that she did end up in a nursing home, and the lady in the room with her couldn't hear. So if somebody pressed the button, my mother couldn't answer, and the other lady couldn't hear it. So we have to be careful with that when we're pairing people up.
What about home modifications? Or is there any home modifications specifically for dementia clients or patients? Or
Not
Well,
for me.
There is one particular product that comes into my mind right now, and this product is one that we do carry more for potentially for access. It's the open sesame door system, so it'll open and close your door for you. But it is also access, being able to monitor basically your loved one's ability to, limiting their ability to wander, so to speak, okay? So that's something, that's a product. But when we do have a lot of people that call, they're calling initially for a mobility issue, because we're one-on-one mobility, right? But there's usually something underlying. We might be dealing with somebody that has cognitive decline, or some type of progressive disease or illness that is limiting their freedom of movement in one way or the other. And a lot of people don't realize that dementia in particular, it's such a wide umbrella that, yes, one of the most common manifestations is a decline in cognitive processing and memory, but there's also a lot of the motor unit, the physical movement that can be impacted as well. And so it's not uncommon for us to go to a home to do an assessment on the structure of the home and to do an assessment that is related to the mobility, but have these underlying issues. For example, you have a person that, you know, maybe one of the most common reasons people get elevators from us is because you have somebody that is, their physical body is declining, and they might need a motorized wheelchair that's very heavy, and so they need some type of device to get them to access the rest of their home. So there really are a variety of different products that can assist in keeping your loved one safe, whether or not the etiology of the disease is related to dementia or memory loss. But there is something that I wanted to point out. As much as we want to keep ourselves and our loved ones within our homes that we've curated, within the communities that we've created, there may come a time where the care needs are just too high to sustain in that individual structure. And the deciding factor for me is always whether or not you can have a community that can be around you, support you to stay in that home. I can put a stair lift in your house, but if you have a loved one that is unable to properly manage their medications, if you have a loved one that is no longer able to safely toilet unaided, and there is not enough of a community resource or funding that can be found to keep them in that home, that might be the deciding line where you may and should consider a community at that time. So again, for me, everything is the basis of all of this, living safely at home, is the community. And everyone here, we're part of a team. We could be part of your team, but at the end of the day, you have to create a team of community members and community resources to keep you and your loved ones safe at home. If you can't create this team safely, naturally, and financially, then that is potentially the time when you start considering other options. Not whether or not you have 2 stories, we can solve that problem. Not whether or not you have a barrier for your threshold, we can solve that problem. But will someone be there to help you in your hour of need? That is the real underlining question.
Thank you for that. So just to give you a heads up, we're getting to the point where we're about ready to close. Some of the vendors here have brought gifts or giveaways. You guys may have signed up for raffles. Here in a minute, we're going to do that. So please stay here. I believe you have to be present to win. That's the rule of the day when it comes to that. So please hang out for that. I want to give anybody else an opportunity because I don't want anybody to leave without asking a question that they have in mind that they would like to know. So if you have a question, now's the time to raise your hand. I would like to say, I hope I was able to keep you guys engaged enough tonight through this process. Again, this isn't my career of doing this, so I hope I was able to keep things engaged. Yeah, thank you. I want you to know my wife is the one that started clapping first. So, and then the other thing that I would like to do as a member and a representative for Stand Up for Seniors is I would like to thank personally the panel tonight. We called on these folks. We said, hey, listen, guys, we'd like you to be on a panel discussion. We're doing it different than last year. We want to bring you up here, and we're going to ask you questions. And we're not going to tell you what the questions are or even the topics. So we just want to get your thoughts. So I would like to personally thank each of you, Tanny, Hope, Nicole, Patrick. So can we give them a round of applause, please? Before we bring up the prizes, and I'm going to warn you guys not to make it too long, but we're talking about giving out prizes, and they're not going to, let you say too much because they want those goodies. But would you like to close and just kind of, as we started, give a 2-minute or a 1-minute just information? Patrick, you've been chosen first.
Well, yeah, I think I covered most of the bases regarding our services, but, just want to say that, if you're needing to get home from the hospital and you don't want to spend the $900 on an ambulance to get home, or you want a reliable company that's going to get you to and from your doctor's appointment safely, we have a 100% hit rate on customer satisfaction. We have never missed a pickup. We have never left somebody behind. I can guarantee you we have a reliable service for you, and that's what we always set out to do. So if you ever need a hand, just give us a call. We're a resource as well. We're not just here to poach you and and have you use our services. If you have general questions about transportation, Even, some slight questions about Medicare or Medicaid transport, I can either answer some of those things or refer you to somebody who can answer a whole lot better than I can. But please just consider me a resource. Thank you all for coming out tonight.
And I just want to jump in real quick regarding Patrick. When I first met Patrick and hearing his story, okay, I might cry, but what he went through as a son with his father, and he started this company. I can't give kudos to this guy for doing something, and that's why he's got such a good rating, is because of what he went through with his dad, and he said no one should have to go through that. So, sorry.
Thank you, Dee.
You make me emotional.
You're the best.
Patrick, I hope you're paying more than $20 for that testimonial, because that was good.
That was a big donation.
That was a good one.
That's all we had.
Nicole?
Thank you again for having us. This has been an amazing panel. I always enjoy coming out here. We would love, how do I put this? My sales director, she always closes all of her emails by saying, "Thank you for the opportunity. How can we earn your business?" Thank you for the opportunity for having me here this evening to tell you a little bit about 101 Mobility and our products and our services. We would love to be able to earn your business, but more importantly, we would love the opportunity to earn your trust. I would like to remind everyone we are a resource to you in that we are very happy to come to your home to do a free home evaluation, really no strings attached. We can discuss what options we have that might be of use to you and just carry that conversation further to make sure that you're actually getting your needs assessed and you're getting some honest answers for a situation that you're already dealing with. The other thing too is we want to be a part of your team. And so we know that the purchase of a lot of our products, it's not just a stair lift, it represents something to that individual. So we always want to be very respectful of that. And again, we would just love the opportunity to visit with you, see how we can help, and be a part of your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Hope?
I may cry too. Thank you. I just want to say from my heart that I represent the home repair division of our Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity for forever, since they first were developed, was about caring for people, wanting to create a home for anybody and everybody because we all deserve them. And my goal is to create a home that you can survive in for as long as you possibly can in any environment. And when I come into your home, you are my priority, nobody else, just you. I care about you above and beyond, your family. You are my goal, you are my focus. I want to plant a seed of hope in your home, that you can stay there, that this can be done. It doesn't matter what the environment you're living in right now, you won't be there when I leave. And by planting that seed, I pray that God waters it from that point forward, because that's all that I can do is plant it. I love you, each and every one of you. Thank you for having me.
Tanny?
So yes, thank you for having us tonight. I think that any one of us, all of us in this kind of business, we have a heart for it. We love what we do. We, in our case as well, we familiarize ourselves with other resources. This is one of the ways that we get to know each other. And if we have a client that needs transportation, we might refer them to the transportation or whatever. So we are a community as well, as we refer to each other, and we want what is best for the client. So again, thank you for having us tonight.
So, folks, I believe my job is done here. I would like to personally thank Pastor Keith. He's been very welcoming to me and made me feel comfortable doing this and supportive of me. And I probably could not have done it without his blessing and his prayers. So thank you for that. And also thank you to this community, First Canton Baptist Church, for allowing us to be here. I mean, as these panelists said, we're grateful to be here, and thank you very much. So I'm going to turn the mic back over to Dee because she's going to close it up and finish with you guys. So thank you very much.
Okay, it's drawing time. Don't exit yet. You might be a winner. Okay, we are going to start with Holbrook. And they are out there, and so you can get their basket if you win out there at their table. Shake it up, Sabrina.
They're all stuck inside each other. Here we go.
Am I? Okay. I'm trying not to share it. Okay. Oops. Oh. We've got, is it Rick or Rich Metcalf? Yay! Get your basket from Holbrook. They have a nice one, it looks like, too. So, all right. We've got Senior Helpers. Famous Thomas. You did great tonight, by the way. Thomas was nervous at first, but I think he rallied.